Hi, everybody. My PowerPoint is about the Coca-Cola 2016 Sustainability Report, um, which I am analyzing. It's a quick review. The report is discussing changes in previous environmental goals of the company. These goals take place between 2016 to 2020, where it's going to be reviewed again. The change is to be more of a green initiative that is growth oriented, consumer centered, and emphasizes the beverage company in taking a positive approach to the world that's changing now. It provides letters from executives like this president and CEO that I'll show you later, and highlights the statistics that are changing throughout the company. Some examples would be agriculture, climate protection, human workplace rights, and many others. Moving on, I wanted to focus on the persuasion of the report in the beginning. So Coca-Cola is trying to sell their image to be green and friendly, which is great. So they're trying to persuade whoever reads this report that they understand that they are listening to consumers, they're listening to the people who are buying Coca-Cola products, and they're providing different products that are not so unhealthy, like soda, or healthier perspectives of how they're, or not perspectives, but healthier approaches of making the products, or greener approaches. They provide statistics in the report to support their argument, and like I said before, they're emphasizing healthy ingredients and better product management. So, what after reading the report, I would say the page layout was pretty inconsistent. In the beginning of the report, there's a couple letters, and I understand what they were trying to do, creating this personalization with people from the executive board writing, but it was a low use of the white space that's found in the pages and poorly done, I believe. There were some slides I did like that showed an equal amount of images and use of the white pages, but later it starts getting bombarded by images and text and stuff like that. And so it can become misleading and um, inconsistent. Well, this is like an example, I would say, for a good page layout. The points are there, good color that's going to bring out the agriculture topic, climate protection, and it's well organized. So you can read it up from down, and you know from the top title that the 2016 sustainability highlights. It's to the point, it makes it easier for the reader, and Coca-Cola right at the bottom lets you know what you're going into. But I felt this was one of the examples of a bad page layout. I only say this for the reason that, like, if you look at the four beverage ingredients, not too much. It's that I think that's a good start, but the sourcing map is very distracting. And then the agriculture above is so much of a paragraph trying to explain what their changes are that you start like looking consistently at different places on this page, and I think this is a poor use of white page use on the page on the article. Moving on, I think the texts were difficult to comprehend at the beginning of the report. The letters were handwritten, so it doesn't provide reliable reading. And then the text throughout the reading was too small. Now the tone I did like, it was more empathetic to consumers and it was proactive to the product. Here's an example of the letters that I saw. Um, yes, I could read this, but if you have the second glance at it or third glance at it, and you keep looking back to it. There were some parts of this writing that I had to keep checking out, like in the first sentence of the second paragraph where it says "roll our drinks." I had to look at that a couple times just to try to understand it. Now moving on to visuals, it was they used images, creating this turn of age approach, well, which is good because they're just trying to create this green sustainability positive approach to their report. Um, but some images can be distracting. This is a great image. I thought that was a great introduction to the whole report. Water, you just think of water, you're thinking of the environment, but you're also realizing this is Coca-Cola that's trying to emphasize this. Now, I've highlighted right here the images that can be very distracting from the previous part of the article I explained, or not article, report. But you could see, like, you see pitchforks, then you see these GPS things, and then vegetables at the bottom, and then there's the graph, and there's just so much going on in the page. Where do you start? And I think that's a poor use of imagery. Credibility. The sources were being found at the bottom of the page. I could not find actual sources. And many of the pages were linked to the Coca-Cola website, so I could believe this creates sort of a bias. You're not getting a neutral credibility source that will let you know, like, okay, well, then where's the problems here? But makes sense because they're trying to proactively sell their company as a green approach, and I don't think they want a negative impact, but it's unrealistic. And then there's no credible proof to the statistics being used throughout the article, throughout the report. So I believe at the end of it, Coca-Cola is trying to use their name and their company as a crutch in some way to persuade readers to believe in their company and believe that they're taking a big approach because they're such a popular company. I was looking at their research as well. The research, if you read through the article, it's mainly green. It talks about how the change in agriculture, the change in workplace and human rights, the usage of recycling and bottles. And it creates a very positive image for Coca-Cola. But I don't know if it's enough. Because of going back to credibility, its reliability is, at hand, difficult to trust in. And because Coca-Cola has had many images issues in the past, you don't know if you trust it as an average consumer. But that was my rhetorical analysis of the sustainability report, and my final thoughts were that I believe it was a good report, and I would like to put a link so you can read the report. But there's still a lot of changes they could do so that they could win consumers over. You want to build trust with the consumers, and I think changing to a green approach was a great idea, but they're still treating people as just a market. And I understand it's a business, but people want to understand why can't I trust Coca-Cola? Why can't I enjoy Coca-Cola? But then you want to see reliable statistics, and I think the credibility and research that was provided in this report was very weak, or at least sourced weakly. And then the idea of imagery and text were very inviting, like a handwritten letter, but without clarification of what the writing was or making the writing easier to understand while you read the report, you're making the consumer try too hard to try to understand what your message was. And ideally, at the end of that, someone might just stop reading the report because it's just too much going on at once. Well, that's my report. That's my PowerPoint, how I feel about it. And I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.